Stay inspired. Follow us on all our social media platforms.
Upon a time, in a small village near the coastal town of Alubo, a young woman named Nyamiche faced the hardest days of her life. At just 27 years, her world had crumbled when her father passed away. Life became unbearable. Her mother's petty trading barely brought in enough to survive, and each day felt heavier than the last. Hunger, debt, and hopelessness surrounded them like a dark cloud. One evening, overwhelmed by frustration and despair, Nyamiche found herself walking to the cemetery where her father was buried. She fell on her knees before his grave, with tears soaking the dry. In that moment of deep sorrow, she found herself whispering wishes into the cold night, wishes for wealth, comfort, or an escape from suffering. She never stopped to think how she would earn such riches. She only wanted the pain to end. But that night, as the wind carried her desperate words into the darkness, something unseen was listening, and it was only the beginning. The wind howled through the graveyard, shaking the trees as if unseen hands were reaching for something or someone. Nyamiche stood before her father's tombstone with her body shivering, but not from cold. Her hands trembled as she placed a single white flower on the grave. "I'm tired, Papa," she said with a breaking voice. "Mama and I have suffered for too long. We have nothing. No money, no happiness. Only you are alive." Tears streamed down her cheek. She clenched her fist and looked up at the dark sky. "If there is anyone listening, please give me riches. I don't care how. Just help me." The wind stilled. The silence pressed against her ear. A whisper, soft and distant, said, "It's a stand." Nyamiche spun around. No one was there, only the eerie graveyard and the rustling leaves. She swallowed hard. "I'm just hearing things," she muttered to herself and walked away. Her heart was so heavy. The next morning, everything changed. Her mother, Issy, burst into their small room, holding a crumpled letter. "Nyamiche, the land we lost, it's been returned to us. The chief says it was all a mistake." Nyamiche sat confused. That land was taken years ago. They fought, they begged, but no one listened. How could it suddenly be theirs again? As she stepped outside, a man approached her, bowing slightly. "Miss Nyamiche, I have been instructed to deliver this." She hesitated before taking the envelope. Inside the envelope, money, bundles of it. Her hands shook. "Where is this from?" The man smiled. "It's a gift. You are now a woman of fortune." He turned and disappeared down the road before she could even ask other questions. Nyamiche's heart raced. This is impossible, but she didn't question it. Days turned into weeks, and Nyamiche's life transformed. She and her mother moved into a big house. They started wearing expensive clothes, buying jewelry. People started treating them like royalty. They no longer worried about food, rent, or suffering. Luck? No, it was too perfect and too sudden. Then the dreams began. Nyamiche woke up in the middle of the night gasping. She had seen something, a shadow with hollow eyes, standing at the foot of her bed, watching and waiting. The whispers were turned. The debt must be paid. Her skin turned cold. What debt? One evening, as she admired herself in the mirror, a sharp knock echoed through the house. She opened the door. It was a man in a black robe, with his face hidden under a hood. "You called upon the spirit of wealth," he said. His voice was deep, chilling. "Now they demand payment." Nyamiche took a step back. "Payment? What do you mean?" The man lifted his hand. In his palm, a flame flickered, black as the night. "They have given you fortune," he said. "Now you must give something in return." The room darkened. Shadows stretched along the walls, moving unnaturally. Nyamiche's breath came in short gaps. I don't have anything to give." The man tilted his head. "Oh, but you do." The whispers grew louder. The shadows closed in, and then A horrifying realization struck her. Her mother. They wanted her mother as payment. Nyamiche challenged the spirit. I didn't ask you anything. I don't owe you anything. You can't scare me. But the spirits laughed. A terrible, hollow sound that filled the room. You wanted riches desperately, and we gave them to you, it said. Did you ask where and who brought the money? No, but you were desperate to be rich. And now you must pay something precious in return. Nothing in this world comes free. Nyamiche's chest rose and fell quickly. Her hands balled into fear. Take it back. I don't want the money anymore. The spirit's laughter echoed one last time before it faded into the darkness. It doesn't work that way. Nyamiche stood frozen. Her whole body was shaking. Her breath was heavy and uneven. She wiped the tears from her forehead, but her hands were cold. Too cold. Her thoughts raced. She had enjoyed the riches, never questioning their source. But now, she realized the truth. Tears burned in her eyes, but she forced them back. No, she wouldn't cry. She wouldn't panic. Nyamiche screamed, backing away. No, take back the riches. I don't want them. I don't want them anymore. The man's grin widened. It doesn't work that way, he said. The spirit's eyes widened again. It doesn't work that way. You must pay something in return of the riches you are enjoying, or your soul will be ours forever, in the hell of suffering. But the whispers only grew louder. The debt must be paid. A shadow crept into the room, moving unnaturally. The candle light flickered, casting eerie shapes on the wall. Cold hand brushed against her shoulder. Nyamiche spun around. Nobody was there. Her heart pounded in her chest. Then, her mother screamed from the other room. Nyamiche dashed to her mother's door, banging on it. Mama, open the door. She pushed the door open. Her mother sat on the bed, staring blankly at the wall. Her lips trembled, her eyes vacant. Nyamiche stepped closer. Mama! Izzy turned her head, her voice barely above a whisper. They are here. The lights flickered. The shadows danced. A cold wind swept through the room. Then, a dark figure emerged from the corner, its hollow eyes staring straight at Nyamiche. Nyamiche screamed, Mama, he's here! Izzy rushed in, with her heart pounding. Who is that? Where are they from? What do they want from us? Nyamiche opened her mouth to answer, but suddenly, the spirits grabbed her. Her mouth snapped shut. Her words were stolen. The shadows wrapped around her arms, her leg dragging her backwards. Mama! Nyamiche's muffled screams filled the air. Izzy lunged forward, trying to pull her daughter back. Let her go! Leave my child alone! But the spirits were stronger. The walls trembled. Deafening horror filled the house as a gaping hole cracked open the door. Inside the pit, ghostly figures crawled at the edges, their hollow eyes glowing, their hands stretched out, reaching out for Nyamiche, whispering her name in voices that sounded like broken glass. Nyamiche kicked, thrashed, fought, but the spirits held her tight. Their cold fingers dug into her skin, pulling her closer to the darkness. Izzy collapsed to her knees, tears streaming down her face. Please, take everything. Take the house. Take the money. Just leave my daughter alone. The spirits didn't listen. Nyamiche's body hovered over the pit. Her eyes met her mother's one last time. She mouthed a single word. Sorry. Then she was gone. The hole in the floor sealed shut. The room fell silent. Nyamiche's mother stared at the empty space where her daughter had been, her mind unable to grasp what had happened. Outside, the wind howled once more, whispering through the night, and in the darkness, a voice echoed, Nothing comes free. Nyamiche's mother fell to her knees, her trembling hands covering her face. My daughter, my poor daughter, she whispered, but no one could bring Nyamiche back. No one could undo what had been done. Word spread across the village like wildfire. Some whispered that Nyamiche had been taken by spirits. Others claimed she had simply vanished without a trace. But one thing was clear. She had paid a terrible price for her wish. Let this be a warning. Not all riches come from hard work. Some come as a price. Too great to bear. Be careful what you ask for, because when darkness gives, it always takes something in return.
Thank you for watching. Follow Derba Tales on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for updates and more amazing stories. See you next time.